American Christian, the kingdom is not in trouble, but the way we've gone about it is undergoing a drastic seismic shift. There are many seminaries, those who train people for ministry on the graduate level, that have closed over the last 5-10 years. Some of these are near and dear to my heart. There was a detailed study done by Higher Ed Dive that listed 92 seminaries that have closed since 2016. The news in the last month has been my alma mater, Harding School of Theology in Memphis, is closing shop in Memphis and is moving to the main campus in Searcy. I saw news today that Lincoln Seminary is being absorbed into Ozark Christian. There's an article by a previous president of Gordon Conwell Theological Seminary announcing their closing, and he talks in this article entitled "The Ending of Seminaries as We've Known Them" about the difficulties that seminaries face and how even Fuller in Pasadena has closed 3 campuses in 2018 and is looking to relocate but is struggling to do that. I had no idea that was even in the mix, no idea. And they're a flagship seminary in the United States, and they're really struggling to get by. But I think that what often gets mentioned are the symptoms rather than the actual underlying problems. And so in David Turner's article, which is a fantastic article, I'm going to link to it in the description, he talks about the iron triangle of what universities face in order to remain viable, and that's cost, access, and quality. Cost, access, and quality. Okay, so take Harding and Memphis. They're reducing costs. They are increasing access by making it online. And hopefully, I have no idea what the quality is of all of that, but they're trying to at least address 2 out of 3. But what if that misses the point entirely? What if cost, access, and quality really were immaterial because your target audience has dramatically shifted? The kinds of people who you were used to targeting are no longer in the system because you're used to targeting people who wanted theological education because they wanted to go into full-time local congregational ministry, and now people are not wanting to do that. And so no matter how cheap you make it, no matter how accessible you make it, and no matter how high of quality you make it, you're not going to have the same amount of interest that you had before, because underneath it all, there's been a seismic shift in what people value and what they want to get out of their lives and how they see church. These things have shifted, but it seems to me that our institutions of higher ed are still fixated on the variables that they could control to get higher enrollment are no longer effective. Because you've already put it online, you've already made it cheaper, you've made it more accessible, and yet people are still not as interested in it. And they're not as interested in it because they don't want to work for the institutional church, because they've seen all the problems that come along with working for the institutional church. They don't want to devote their life to all of that. They don't mind volunteering, they don't mind attending for many people. Even that's gone down significantly. But we're going to have to look at things in a new way. The old wineskin's not going to work for theological education and partnering with the local church. The academy is no longer going to provide people equipped for work in the local congregation in a way that they used to provide. It's all dried up. There is no pipeline there. And so we're going to have to redefine our niche in the academy, the seminary, and in the local congregation of who it is we are looking for and what it is we're trying to do. The problem that the academy should be trying to solve is how do we, with a changed landscape, produce graduates of all degree types who are equipped to work in local ministry context on a volunteer or bivocational basis. On the local congregational end, the local congregation needs to say that because the seminaries are no longer providing quality candidates to meet the needs of the local congregation, we are going to need, this is a great idea, should have been happening all along, to equip our people locally in-house in order to carry on the life's work of the church in the congregation and in the community, which would result then in an exponential growth in the number of people who are actually doing the work and a removal of the mindset of professionalized ministry that's been hampering our churches for hundreds of years. Maybe it's finally happening. 90-something seminaries, 92 closing since 2016, and more on the way. And yet people are still aiming at the old metrics. They're still aiming at the old problems. The institutions, both church and academy, are not recognizing in many instances that the game has changed, that who you're looking for is not who is available. And so you're going to have to change the approach. There's a quote in White's article on Gordon Conwell's situation where the current president says, quote, "You can't cut your way to success. Either you do something as dramatic and radical as a relocation, or you make incrementalized cuts and die. But even that, if you relocate or you merge into something else, you're still not solving the problem of aiming your program at a population that doesn't exist. And so you either have to get people interested in what you're offering, which means getting more people in the local congregation interested in graduate education so that they can then get that and come back to serve the local church on a professional, full-time level, which people are not interested in doing after seeing all the fallout, or you have to change your game on who it is you're serving, who it is you're equipping, and the kind of equipping that you're doing. Sure, make it more accessible. Sure, make the cost what it needs to be. Make the quality high, low cost, highly accessible, high quality, all that. But if no one is interested in that, you're not going to get any results. I think this is a grand opportunity for the local church to get some skin back in the game in theological and practical ministry education, that we have to stop farming this stuff out to third parties and start taking it upon ourselves to take responsibility to equip people on a local level. Should have been doing it all along, but instead we relied on someone else to do it. It's kind of like saying that the local church doesn't need to do much benevolent work because we pay our taxes, and then Uncle Sam takes our tax money and then does EBT and work in the community and helps the poor and all that. So I'm already paying my taxes, so why do I need to do personal local work to be benevolent in my community? Well, we shouldn't have third parties that need to do that for us. Yes, and I'm not against the institution of the academy. I have an MDiv. I'm fully bought into that. But the game has changed. Things have shifted. We can't rely on that to produce this for us anymore when no one is interested in entering that pipeline to be prepared to work in your church. That means your church either needs to equip the people to do the ministry, or your church is going to shrivel up and die. That's really the two options. And so we have to wrap our minds around a new reality and repurpose things and refocus and retool things in order to engage a new reality where the church is on the cutting edge of training local people to do the work that's right in front of you, instead of saying, hey, let's go to the job fair at the university and find out who the new graduates are and then interview them and try to bring them into our program so that we can catch those amazing graduates, and it's like that system's blown up. The idea that you're going to get a degree in Bible to come preach, and you're going to start at a small country church and a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger till you get to the big one with the good benefits and the good salary where you can finally afford to buy a 3-year-old car. That whole thing is shifting. The pipeline has dried up. And yet there are still people who attend the academy, the university setting, who can be trained in ministry and be a plumber, who can be trained in ministry and be an engineer, who can be trained in ministry and be an architect or a surgeon or a lawyer or whatever. But they need to be training ministry skills on the local level within all the degree programs that are being offered, so that we can then send people back into both the marketplace and the congregation to do work in both. This is how Paul operated. Read Acts 17. He's in the marketplace and he's also over here lecturing. And he's bringing these things together in a way that we just stopped doing. We've insulated everything and separated everything and said, well, you can be a Bible major and then serve the church, and everybody else gets other degrees, and then they just kind of give to pay the guy who's supposed to serve the church. That game is over. The ship has sailed. It's done. It's time to move on. There are better fish to fry. There's a better future ahead, and it involves all of us doing the work, and stop paying people to do it for us. Stop outsourcing the university to prepare people to do the work that we should have been doing the whole time. It's a different game. It's a new day. So get ready for it, and stop thinking that someone else is going to save the day for you. Someone else is going to prepare the people. You have to start preparing the people. And if you aren't ready to start preparing the people, then you get ready to die. Because there's not going to be the next minister who's going to serve that church on a full-time basis. They're not going to show up. They're not coming. And if you don't start today preparing for that, you're going to be in real trouble. And so let's get back to the university and the congregation getting back realigned in a way that we can help each other and love each other and compliment each other and help each other out. Where yes, the local congregation is sending students to those Christian universities, and those Christian universities are producing amazing doctors, lawyers, judges, policemen, social workers, counselors that also understand how to do local ministry work in the congregation and in the community, that when they go back into the marketplace, they're also going back to serve in the community and in the congregation. It's a match made in heaven. We just have to re-embrace a new reality because things have changed. Things have changed. I'm going to put another related video up here on the screen that I hope you'll take a minute to watch. I think it'll be eye-opening for you on some of how we've gotten into this situation. But better days ahead, guys. Better days ahead. It's just going to look different. It's going to hurt a little bit, rip the Band-Aid off, but it's going to be better. Y'all take care. Hit that like button. Catch you later.